Welcome back to the channel guys, it's your boy Matthew here, back with another shoe review, and today we're here reviewing the Adidas Takumi Sen 10s. Now this shoe right here comes in at a retail price of approximately 170 quid, so I'd recommend you watch this video before buying the shoe. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, I do not like this shoe, but we're going to go into the reason why in this video. So if you do like the content you see on the screen and you find the shoe reviews helpful, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So as you just heard, from my experiences, I am not a big fan of the Takumi Sen 10, and that is because it doesn't fit my running form. However, it does fit running forms of many other runners, so in today's video, we're going to look at who is suited to have this shoe. First of all, we're going to look at why I don't like this shoe, and if that will mean you don't like the shoe either. But after that, we're going to look at if you do like the shoe, and I'm going to give you a review on the stats of this shoe, the advantages and the disadvantages, and what you'd use this shoe for. But without further ado, let's look at why I don't like this shoe. Before we get into the review of the shoe, let's look at the reason why I didn't like this shoe. Quite simply, the reason being is that the Takumi Sen 10 did not fit my running style. Interestingly, I have quite wide feet, which presented as a problem as the Takumi Sen 10 provides quite a snug fit. The design of this shoe meant that this hard plastic area indicated on the screen was pressing against my foot. During a park run where I tested this shoe, the area kept on rubbing against the top of my big toe, which over the 5k led to a graze being formed on the area. This led to a lot of discomfort the next time I put the Takumi Sen 10s on. This is because the hard plastic area kept on pressing into my graze, which believe me was pretty painful. And despite trying to loosen the shoe in this area, ultimately I've decided that I won't be keeping the shoe as it doesn't fit my style of running. But don't click off this video, the Takumi Sen 10 is still a great shoe for someone who matches the requirement of the shoe, and that is pretty much anyone who doesn't have wide feet. So with why I don't like the shoe explained, let's move on to the review of the shoe. Luckily, my brother Connor also owns a pair, and as he quotes "I love this shoe," let's give a review from his perspective of what he thinks the pro and cons are. I feel if I gave my verdict, the result would be slightly biased as I don't like the shoe, but let's see a review of the shoe from a neutral perspective. Firstly, for the Takumi Sen 10, we will look at the design of the shoe. Now, the Takumi Sen 10 is very similar in style to the previous model, the Takumi Sen 9. The upper is designed for an upper mesh which is quite thin, making it lightweight and breathable. However, there is quite a condensed snug fit which is not ideal as already mentioned, and the defining factor being the tongue which is kept on poking into my toe. However, the rest of the design is pretty good. Even myself can admit in saying that the foam contained in the Takumi Sen 10 is pretty effective. Firstly, there's a dual layer of light strike foam contained in the midsole which contains a balance between softness and firmness. This light strike foam provides good energy return but does result in the shoe weighing 198 grams. This does result in the Takumi 10 Sens being slightly lighter than its purpose of being a race day shoe, which we will cover more about in a minute. The Takumis don't provide that on-ground feel, which can be a good thing for some runners, but if you were and do like an on-ground feel, this may be another reason why this shoe is not for you. But the area where this shoe shines is with the use of the Energy Rods 2.0. The Energy Rods are what allows us to call the Takumi Sen 10 a race day shoe. Located in the midsole, the energy rods are acting in propelling you off the ground on every stride. They act in propelling you forwards on each stride and are in my opinion one of the best aspects of the Takumi Sen 10. I feel they work very well in their designated role in the shoe in effectively giving me that extra bit of bounce on every stride. This allows me to run that little bit faster, enhancing my overall speed. Now, after covering the design of the Takumi 10 Sens, let's look at the overall purpose of the shoe. Now, as already mentioned, the energy rods makes this shoe's purpose a race day shoe. They are designed to make you as fast as possible, and for me, I would have used this shoe for between 1 mile and 10 kilometers maximum. This is certainly the range the vast majority of people I have seen wearing this shoe for races have raced the distances from. I wouldn't advise wearing the Takumi Sen 10s for any longer than a 10 kilometer. The reason being there isn't the durability in the shoe to last for long runs. Finally, after looking at the purpose of the Takumi Sen 10, let me go through the common advantages and disadvantages which runners find in common with the shoe. To begin with, the energy rods allow for the shoe to be super bouncy, making this ideal for racing in. The energy rods aim at propelling you forwards, helping you run that little bit faster, maximising the possibility for PB. A second advantage which I've not mentioned at all yet is the excellent traction which the Takumi Sen 10 has to offer. The rubber on the outsole provides good grip, especially on surfaces such as concrete or other hard and dry surfaces. This grip from the outsole prevents the shoe from slipping, and it also helps the energy rods in propelling forwards with more force. This provides more energy return, helping the bounce to push the runner forwards more, helping increase their speed. However, when thinking about the outsole, this takes me to the first disadvantage, being the durability concerns. Whilst the rubber outsole of the bottom of the shoe provides excellent grip, other outsole of the shoe is made out of thin material. This can be seen especially in the upper mesh of the shoe. Whilst this makes the shoe breathable, this can lead to the area experience wear and tear sooner. The thin upper mesh may not be able to withstand heavy loads of training over a frequent long amount of times, meaning this shoe may need to be replaced sooner. Moving on to my second disadvantage is this will be the snug fit. For me, there just isn't enough room for my wide feet, which creates a condensed feel. This does attempt to keep your feet locked in place when running, which can reduce the chance of a blister. But for me, the Takumi Sen 10 just is too narrow for me to comfortably run in. And that there is my two advantages and two disadvantages. So my final category of today's video is looking at who this shoe is meant for. This shoe can be suited to many people, such as my brother who loves the Takumi Sen 10. However, the problem I find is that the tongue digs too deep into my toe. So this means that the Takumi Sen 10 is not designed for those who have wide feet, and instead is suited to those who have more narrow feet. One other thing to add is that the energy rods feature mainly in the midsole. This means runners who land on the centre of their foot on each stride will feel more of the benefit from the energy rods. Alternatively, those who are more of a heel striker may not feel the energy rods as much. That there is my review of the Takumi Sen 10. I did in fact trade these shoes with my brother for the Vaporfly Next Percent 3, a shoe which therefore I will make a shoe review on in the next few weeks. So subscribe with the notification bell on if you don't want to miss that video. So yeah, that is pretty much it for today's shoe review. Now you gotta take a grain of salt when looking at these stats, because it's coming from my brother who is a big fan of the shoe. Like I said, I'm not a fan myself because it doesn't fit my running style. But yeah, if this shoe works for you, then it is a great shoe to use, especially for those 5Ks to the 10Ks. But if you enjoyed that video today, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below if there's any other shoes you want me to review. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.